The Great Proletarian Revolution. Following the disastrous events during the Great Leap Forward, resulting in the life of 50 million people, victims of the largest famine in human history, Mao backed down from political life. His role as chairman was now occupied by Liu Shaoqi and his deputy Deng Xiaoping. Both of these personalities were adopting some capitalistic policies to try and drive China out of the effects of the Great Leap Forward. Mao was very concerned as he feared the possibility that China might follow the Soviet Union's new ideological direction under Khrushchev. To his opinion, Liu was dealing with problems in a pragmatic way, supported by a Politburo full of bourgeoisies that ignored the essence of Chinese communism. As a result, Mao felt the need to save the revolution from the so-called capitalistic roaders, trying to consolidate his ideals and pass his ideology to the new generations, with the sole aim of reasserting his own style of communism. In addition, after the Great Leap Forward, Mao's image and reputation had lost credibility and consequentially had started to lose support. Mao was concerned as this meant a loss of power. Liu and Deng were now a serious threat to his image and power. Mao needed to find a new way to get rid of them in order to make China a real totalitarian state. He used the excuse of the proletariat revolution to try and indoctrinate the new generations to worship him, in order to build an army of loyal supporters who had not known a better life than life during the Mao years. But what did Mao do to try and tackle this problem? First of all, he tried to gain control of the army. Lin Biao, his Minister of Defense, compiled the Little Red Book, a propaganda work whose aim was to indoctrinate the army and sequentially people in Chinese schools. With this book's help, Lin turned the army into a propaganda organ. This meant that Mao had now the support of a strong and loyal body that could be used to storm those supposed enemies. At the same time, Mao was securing his position, as the army was one of the few organs capable of attempting a coup against the Politburo. Mao needed a stronghold, a vanguard for his revolution. With the help of his wife, Jiang Qun, and of Lin Biao, Mao started to stir up trouble behind the scenes. The Little Red Book was now read in schools and universities, indoctrinating young people. Mao had now started to win hearts and minds, and the youth soon became loyal to him. This is proven by the famous rebellion at Beijing University of May 1966, where students refused to receive education and attacked the university's administration. This rebellion started to create chaos, and Mao used this opportunity to re-emerge into political life, portraying himself as a savior. Soon, Mao ordered to bombard the headquarters of the party and appointed the Red Guards in August 1966. By appointing the Red Guards, Mao was creating a cult of personality for himself, as the Red Guards recognized Mao as their supreme leader and worshipped him, as seen in the picture. Mao used the Red Guards to attack the four olds, which were old ideas, old culture, old customs, old habits. These Red Guards were students assisted by the PLA, who wrote wall posters, attacked private property, and aimed at ridding China of the entire bourgeoisie. Mao encouraged the Red Guards to destroy temples, shrines, as part of Mao's desire to eradicate religion. This is because without a belief system, the Chinese people were more easily swayed to believe basically whatever he tells them, aiming to control their lives and reconsolidate his power. In order to control the people, Mao attempted to eradicate education. He did this as he believed that people who were educated had the ability to think for themselves and could spot the real contradiction within his ideology. As a result, he targeted intellectuals. Teachers were beaten to death by their students, they were tortured in public, were forced to confess their crimes, and were also sent to prison and forced labor camps in the countryside. Schools and universities closed down, resulting in a decade of literate stagnation. Mao was successfully controlling the lives of ordinary people. The Red Guards provoked fear amongst the Chinese population. Through terror, Mao was solving his problem by getting rid of any public opposition and by indoctrinating the new generation under his style of communism. He was attacking old culture that symbolized the period of the 100 years of humiliation by burning books and changing street names. However, Mao needed to get rid of party members who represented a threat to his authority. As a result, he started depicting party officials in public through propaganda. They were detached as capitalist rovers and as counter-revolutionaries, increasing the wrath of the Red Guards. Jiang Qing targeted the CPC. Liu Shaoqi and Deng Xiaoping were denounced as reactionaries and were sent to work in labor camps. Eventually, Liu even died in prison. Conclusively, Mao tactfully managed to solve his problems. Although some may argue he did so through illegitimate means, the Cultural Revolution was quite lucrative for him. He had gotten rid of those who were driving China back, such as Liu Shaoqi, through various repression campaigns, and was able to reassert his image by saving China from capitalism, and at the same time he had sparked his beliefs to the new generations, exampled in the creation and the existence of the Red Guards. The Cultural Revolution transformed Mao from a hero to an omnipotent being. He had created a legacy which inspired new generations to continue with his progressive beliefs. Nevertheless, Mao had used a sledgehammer to crack a nut. The Cultural Revolution had brought more problems than solutions. First of all, schools and universities had been closed, resulting in a whole generation of Chinese kids without education. At the same time, intellectuals and scientists were sent to the countryside, halting their possibility of undergoing researching. In addition, the revolution had left China bankrupt, as Chinese industry and agriculture had shown devastating reversals that multiplied the effects of the Great Leap Forward. Some may argue that the revolution was unbeneficial to Mao, as he had proved how illogical his doctrine was. Towards the end of it, Lin Biao was planning a coup against Mao. However, he conveniently died in a plane crash. Mao took advantage of these events and depicted Lin as a counter-revolutionary. However, this created confusion between the Chinese people, as they didn't seem to understand how a person seen as Mao's successor was now condemned as a reactionary. People started to lose faith in Mao due to his contradictions and tyrannical policies. When analyzing some sources during the Cultural Revolution, we can analyze this cartoon. This cartoon shows the people, the proletariat, supporting Mao, with the little red books supporting Mao. However, how can we challenge this? First of all, the content seems over dramatically and it doesn't support my contextual knowledge. Why is this? Because not all people supported Mao and supported the Cultural Revolution. However, this propaganda piece is telling us that the proletariat is with Mao, and in theory, during the Cultural Revolution, Mao was attacking the proletariat itself. Another weakness of this source is that it is aiming to persuade rather than to inform. It is a propaganda piece. It wants us to believe that Mao was a hero, a true hero. However, this source has some strength. This source gives an account from someone who was close to the event. In this case, the man who drew the cartoon. However, this source only gives an account from the point of view of the event, and also it is designed this source gave an account of somebody who was close from the event, because the guy who drew the cartoon had actually lived the Cultural Revolution. So this proves that this source is strong. Thank you very much.